Okay, there we go. My God, I have not streamed in ages. So, yeah, things are going to be a little messy. But, eh, I think I've got everything set up the way I need it to be. Things sound okay. Things look okay. This is not the best layout I've ever had, but I mean, it'll work. Oh yeah, I need to change this. Uh, you know what? Probably do it off my phone. It might be easier. There it is. Twitch. There we go. Okay. And I don't see a way to change this on here quickly and easily. Okay. That means I need. Right. There we go. Okay. Well, I have here a booster box of Kaldheim, still sealed. Haven't done anything with it yet except have it just sit here and wait and wait and wait. And Guess it's time to open the packs. Got this at my local gaming store, and thankfully, pre-releases over the last few sets, Wizards of the Coast have allowed the retailers to, if you've gone and pre-ordered a booster box of the set, they've allowed you to pick up the box at the set's pre-release as opposed to having to wait until release date. And so I went and got myself a box of booster packs. And now let's see what sort of fun stuff, what sort of fun shenanigans we can pick up. Stuff I want to pick up? Really? There's only a few cards that I'm actually looking for, and none of them are like the big heavy duty cards. None of them are like, I mean, I'll be happy if I get something like Foreign Klex, but I'm not specifically looking for it. Um, I'm more looking for things like, there's going to be dwarves in the set, so I went and picked up dwarves. Um, I enjoy playing Pauper, and the snow basics are going to be, or not basics, the snow dual lands that actually have basic land types are going to be fun. That allows a Pauper deck to turn around and splash for, you could play a deck and just simply splash for Scred if you wanted to, and not have to rely on making your entire deck full of snow basics. You can, you don't have to, but suddenly this gives you other options. Ooh, Dwarf Berserker token. That's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy those because I went and picked up. I want to build dwarves for standard, and so I have gone and picked up a couple of copies of Torbrand, a playset of Dwarven Mine, a full set of 7 dwarves, a set of Rimrock Knights, just because I want to be able to get started on this. Ooh, Arctic Tree Line. That's the green-white dual land. Um, the snow dual. Varagoth Bloodsky Sire. Let's pull him up. That would be this guy. QQ. And yes, as you can probably tell, I'm in Canada. That's a $14 card, which means it's already over $10 US. 2/3 Death Touch for 3 mana. Oh, yes. This is the one that when you boast it, um, boasting triggers when if the creature ever attacked this turn, you can activate the boast ability. And if you do manage to do that, you can pay the boast cost once a turn. and get whatever the abilities. So in this case, you can, as long as Varagoth has attacked at least once this turn, you can pay one black, one other, once during the turn. Target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. So that's a tutor for any player that you want. Once a turn. That seems pretty good. That's going to go in a lot of decks. It's also a demon rogue, so I enjoy I enjoy pretty much any format that's out there. I don't build the same way everyone else does. I like to build my own decks usually. There are times when I will turn around and say, no, I'm going to have to net deck because I have a deck for Vintage, for example, Oath of Druids. That's the kind of deck that you need more than just a little help with that one. Um, but I play EDH. I'll play Modern. I've got a Legacy deck that I have to put back as Manaless Dredge. Um, I have a dozen deck ideas for Modern and Pauper, and my favorite Pauper deck right now is a mono black burn deck, which is surprisingly good. Um, Standard, yeah, I like to homebrew if I can. And this, I have a Kalia deck for EDH, the original Kalia. I've lost her name. Not Xena Seeker, the original one. Anyway, when she attacks, you can drop into play, tapped and attacking, a demon, a dragon, or an angel. I've got Kalia currently built as um, as Kalia's angels, but if you're building with demons or you don't care about the specific creature type, Varagoth will serve you just fine, and you can get a free, well, not a free tutor, but you can get a tutor every turn for that. So that should be fun. Spectral Steel, that's going to be interesting. Only gives the creature +2/+2 for 2 mana. But you can pay 2 mana and exile it from your graveyard to bring another equipment or aura back from your hand. I could see that getting played in, oh, what's the deck? The Colossus Hammer deck that's seeing play. Boreal Outrider, whenever you cast a creature spell. Basically, if you paid Snow to cast a creature spell, you get a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Yeah, 3 mana, 3/2 Snow Elf Warrior. Narfi. Oh yeah, Narfi's gonna be fun. Narfi's gonna be a little silly because people are gonna just turn around and ignore the casting cost in the top right corner. It's this guy. He's only an uncommon, but people are just gonna turn around and find a way to mill him or get him milled somehow. Pay 3 snow mana, get him back into play. He's a 4/3 at that point that gives all your other snow and zombie creatures +1/+1. Frostpeak Yeti, potential unblockable. Breakneck Berserker, 3/2 for 3/2 haste for 3 at common. Much better than cards used to be back in the day. I've been playing way too many years, and I remember I think it was Goblin Chariot was like one red, two other. So same cost as this, and you got a Goblin, and you got a 2/2 and, with haste, and this is a 3/2 with haste, with currently supported creature types. Lichara Kinseekers, 2/4 Changeling for 4. Oh, yeah, I might toss this into my Sphinx deck anyway. Um, Building a Shroom as a tribal deck rather than artifact synergies. And she Lichara's Kinseekers has changelings, so does count as a Sphinx and a wizard and a thrall and a jellyfish and whatever in all zones. Not just when it's in play, but everywhere. If you control 3 or more creatures that share a creature type, put a +1 counter on it and scry 1. Seems good. Undersea Invader, 5/6 flash for 6, enters tapped. Eh. I mean, to be fair, it's a common. If it was a higher rarity, it probably wouldn't enter tapped. Grizzled Outrider, another meh card, 5/5 for 5. Only requires a single green. It's an elf warrior, so 2 supported creature types. Fine. Raise the Draugr, as opposed to Raise the Drawbridge. Um, 2 mana instant, raise dead, or raise dead 2 creatures if they share a creature type. Fearless Pup, 1/1 first strike at common. I love that. 1/1 first strike at common. And it's got an ability. Doesn't need it. 1/1 first strike at common is pretty good. You can boast 1 red, 2 other, gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Dusk Wielder, 1/2 Elf Berserker, boast, pay 1. Target opponent, drain an opponent for 1. Beskar Shieldmate, when it dies, you get a 1/1 human. It's a 2/1 for 2. And Craven Hulk. Oh, yes. 1 red, 3 other, giant coward. It actually has the coward subtype. That's hilarious. 4/4, can't block alone. Okay, okay. So I'm already not unhappy with my first pack because, you assume a pack costs, well, around here a booster pack costs $5 ish. And I've got a $14 card. I'm not complaining. Alright. I'm not going to go through all the commons and uncommons, but it's the first few packs. Sure, why not? Ooh, replicated ring. I have the token for the replicated ring. Nice. Snowfield Sinkhole, I think. I mean, the way the things are feeling so far. My first 2 packs have got snow, the basic snow duels. Not complaining. This is the white-black one. Realm Walker. Now, if you happen to catch the stream right at the beginning, I had Realm Walker up on the screen. As the buy a box promo. But this is the actual print. That's roughly a $7 card, so about $5 US, give or take. The exchange rate is about 133, I think, still. Let me just look real quick. $1.27. Okay. So I think that's around 5 US. 5 and change US. Again, not bad. Rune of Flight. Enters battlefield. Oh, yes. This I believe this is part of a cycle of enchantments where they come into play and they give the let's see if I can it's not coming through very clearly sadly, but um you can enchant any permanent, and if the permanent you're enchanting is a creature, it gets an ability. And if it's an equipment, the equipment grants that ability. So in this case, if you put it on a creature, the creature gets flying. And if you put it on an equipment, the equipped creature gets flying. Immerstorm Skull Cairn. Enters taps for black, pay 2 red, 1 black, 1 other, tap and sack it. 3 damage to target player. They discard a card to activate as a sorcery. That's a land. That cycle of lands, there's 10 of them. And that cycle of lands is going to be very interesting. Uh, that's probably finding a home in Kalia somewhere. Lichara Glade Warden, 3/3 with changeling for 4. Oh, pay 3, tap, exile creature card from your graveyard. Put 2 +1 counters on target creature. Doesn't have to be your own. Just saying, doesn't have to be your own. Activate only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Cool. Bind the Monster. I believe people are calling Bind the Monster the new, uh, the blue Swords of Plowshares. It taps down a creature for 1 mana. Uh, when it enters battlefield, tap and enchant a creature, deals damage equal to equal to its power. So instead of giving your opponent the life, it's taking the life from you and taps the creature down. That's going to be fun. That's also going to be fun in Pauper. Uh, Mistwalker? Mistwalker should be fun. 1/4 flyer, wood changeling for 3. Uh, pay 2 to swap a point of power and toughness around. Did I say it's 3? It's pay 2. Draugr Recruiter, 3/3 zombie cleric. Oh yeah, clerics are a thing in this set too, aren't they? Yeah. Fun. Um, Boast, pay 1 black and 3 to raise dead. King Harold's Revenge. Oh yeah. 1 red +2 sorcery. Till end of turn, target creature gets +1 for each +1/+1 for each creature you control, and gains trample. Must be blocked this turn of Fable. Am I the only one that's seen this and thinking a Pauper Elf deck would love this thing? Because suddenly you've got one giant beastie that is going to push through a lot of damage. And a lot of your other creatures are going to get through without problem because suddenly everybody's going to be ganging up on this thing. Carfell Candlemaster. Oh, cute. 5 mana, 4/4 zombie berserker. Enters the battlefield. Up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain indestructible till end of turn. Nice. Guardian Gladewalker, 2 mana, 1/1 changeling. Enters battlefield, +1 counter on target creature. So this is basically a Iron Shell Beetle with Changeling. Funeral Longboat. That's cute. 2 mana, 3/3 vehicle. Crew 1. And it has Vigilance. No big deal. Giant Ox. Yeah, this thing is silly. This is one of those cards that Rosewater was talking about. 2 mana for 0/6 and it can crew with its toughness instead of its power. Run Amok, I believe, is a reprint. Roots of Wisdom. 2 mana, mill 3, then return a land or elf card from your graveyard to your hand if you can't draw a card. Okay. Let's go for the third pack. There we are. Alright. Icy Manalith token. Ooh, I got a snow covered island. Nice. My foil is Not Vold Recluse. 4/2 with reach for 3. That's actually a good place to hold it. Alrund, God of the Cosmos. Oh dear. That would be this guy. $7. So yeah, 550 or thereabouts. Enters with a +1 counter for each card in your hand, and each foretold card you own in exile. So he's a 5 mana 1/1, but if you have any way, like, I've got 4 cards in hand. Okay, he's a 5 mana 5/5, which is pretty good for blue. At the beginning of your end step, choose a card type, then reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all cards of the chosen type in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your. Choose a card type. So if you choose land, you reveal the top 2 cards. Any lands go in your hand. The rest go in the bottom in any order. It says choose a card type. So you are looking for land, instant, sorcery, planeswalker, etc., etc. You're not looking for subtypes. So you're not looking for cleric, equipment, uh, or super types, snow, legendary, etc. You're looking for the actual card types. What are you on the other side? Oh yeah, Haka, Whispering Raven. 2 mana, 1 blue, 1 other for a 2/3 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand, then scry 2. I understand why it's going back to hand. I wish it didn't because I want so hard to build mono blue aggro for modern and a card like that would be so nice. But suddenly it says return to hand and it's like, no. Harold, King of Skemfar. We've seen that a few. If you've been watching any box openings or people playing, you've probably seen this by now. 1 black, 1 green, 1 other, 3/2 legendary elf warrior with menace. Enters battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an elf, warrior, or Tyvar card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Yeah, when he enters the battlefield. That's that's not going to be bad at all. Usher the Fallen. Oh, nice. One white, 2/1 Spirit Warrior. Boast. Make a 1/1 white human soldier. Sorry, white human warrior creature token. I could actually see spirits playing that in, you know, maybe in modern. Um, if nothing else, it's a 1 mana 2/1. That's if that's the worst it is. That's decent. Rootless You. 5 mana, 2 green, 3 other for 5/4 tree folk. When it dies, search your library for a creature card, power or toughness 6 or greater. Reveal it, put in your hand, then shuffle your library. So you could search for Yargoth. Yargoth, is that was his name? Who was like a 7/3 for 5 with no abilities. Um, or you could search for Indomitable Ancients, which is hilarious. It's like 2 white, 2 other for a 2/10. You know, not very many creatures are going to be able to usefully attack through a creature with 10 toughness, especially something that's 4 mana to cast it. Saros Packmate, 4 mana, 3/3, comes into play, draw a card. It's a wolf and it has Foretell. Most of the cards I've noticed that have Foretell, the Foretell cost itself is 2 mana and then exile it face down in your hand. But you're allowed to keep track of which cards, which cards are which. It's just your opponent doesn't know. It's kind of like an extension of your hand in that case, i.e., you get to know what's in, your opponent doesn't. Most of the foretell costs I've noticed tend to be 2 mana less than their initial casting cost. So Sorrel's Packmate here costs 4 to cast. Let's see if I can. But it has a foretell cost of 1 green and 1 other, which is 1 green and 3 minus 2. So, strategic planning, always going to be fun. Come with Faithful. 3/1 life link for 1 black and 2. When it dies, each player mills 3. Masked Vandal. I feel like I've seen that before somewhere. No, that's Masked Admirers I'm thinking of. 1 green, 1 other for a 1/3 changeling. Enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Green doesn't get a lot of ways of dealing with the gods, and a lot of the gods in different sets tend to be um, indestructible. And so it's really hard for a green deck to get past indestructible. And so Masked Vandal, the thing about the gods is they also tend to be enchantment creatures. Not always, but they tend to be enchantment creatures. At least the older ones did. Especially the ones based on Theros. Um, Heliod, for example. And so what this allows you to do is actually have a green way to get rid of them. Huh. Shimmerdrift Veil. I don't remember seeing this kind of card before. It's a Snowland at common. Enters tapped. Enters battlefield, choose a color. Tap, add 1 mana of the chosen color. Nice, plain, simple. I would much rather have this than the pathways. I'll go on record. I don't like the pathways. My biggest problem with pathways, it's a rare land that taps for one color. And it's just which color is it tapping for when the choice is made when you put into play. Sure, it enters untapped. Okay, that's nice. And sometimes that's really important. But considering all the dual lands that we've had over the years, if the pathways were uncommon, I probably wouldn't complain so much. But at rare, no, just no. They just feel too wrong. Dread Rider, going back to the guy that can fetch a creature with power or toughness 6 or greater. One black, five other for 3/7 Spirit Knight. That's a big butt. One black, one white, tap, exile creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses 3 life. Okay. That's late enough in the game that, yeah, by the time you're playing it, you probably have a few. I'm just gonna kill your. I'm just gonna kill you slowly every turn. I'll block your biggest creature, 7 toughness. That'll block a Vorinclex. Warhorn Blast. Okay. A foretell card that a foretell instant that gives your creatures +2/+1. 5 mana normally, 3 when you foretell it. Keep in mind that with foretell, you can foretell it this turn. You have to cast it if you're going to cast it at all. You have to cast it on a later turn. You cannot cast it later the same turn. Shackles of Treachery, one of the various threaten effects. This one, for the same mana as, most of your threaten effects, which is, or I should say, like, what, Active Treason? One red, two other. It's the same cost that you'll typically see. Gain control target creature till end of turn. Untap that creature. Till end of turn, it gains haste. And this is the additional bit that you don't normally see. So if you're playing any kind of threatened effects, I would play this ahead. Whenever this creature deals damage, destroy target equipment attached to it. It's one way to blow up a sword or a batter skull or something like that that your opponent is dealing with and get through damage at the same time. Axeguard Braggart. One white, 3 other, 3/3 dwarf warrior. Untap it for 1 white and 2 other. It's a boast ability. So boast, pay 1 white and 1 other. Untap it, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That thing is just going to keep growing. That thing is going to keep growing and growing and growing, and it's going to get out of hand fast unless somebody does something about it. Oh well. Thank you. Some of these packs don't want to open easy. So, some of you may notice that instead of using a better known website like TCG Player or Star City Games or something like that, I have Skyfox Games open. I bought my booster box from Skyfox. They are my local game store. I've been dealing with them on and off for probably something close to 20 odd years. They actually ran the first pre release that I went to, which is all the way back in Alliances. Um, and they're relatively close to me. I can, it's less than half an hour walking distance. Um, it's about a mile and a half from here, so nothing, not too bad. And I've been, I've, I've had, I've had good luck there. I personally feel I've been well treated there. I've had other stores that were closer that I was going there, and I had just the guys that were working there turn around and make me feel unwelcome. And at least when I go to Skyfox, I don't have to worry about that. It got to the point where, yes, full disclosure, I ended up getting a job there. I do currently work there. They are not sponsoring this video. They did not supply the booster box in the sense of we will hand you this box so that you can open it on your stream. No, I actually paid for this booster box out of my own money. Um, and I've been, yeah, I've generally found I've had pretty good luck. Um, when I turned 45, I think it was. So this is about 5 years ago, because I'll be 50 in about 7.5 weeks now. Um, I think it was around then, and Modern Masters 2017, I think it was, had just come out. So maybe it was 46. Um, and it was my birthday on Friday. And for F&M, we actually put it to the group. You know, I liked the idea of being able to crack open Modern Masters. The store, Skyfox, we historically we drafted for F&M, and so I asked the people that were there. Yes, it was going to cost more, but special occasion, would you guys be willing to draft, you know, the Modern Masters set that had just come out? And they said yes. And I was really happy because my first pack, I think was I don't remember which pack was which, but I remember pack 1 and pick 3, the cards that I cracked open were Misty Rain or not Misty Rainforest, Marsh Flats and Damnation. And keep in mind you're drafting. So those are going to go into the same deck regardless. So I was pretty happy about that. And I was very thankful that the people that were there, because I know a lot of places would turn around and say, well, it's going to cost, like, because this is the sort of thing we leave it up to the customer to say, whether or not they want to do this. Um, this is why if we wanted to change the format, instead of drafting, do you guys want to play standard? Or instead of drafting, do you guys, should we start running pauper events and so forth? So we have no problem to the leaving it up to the group to tell us what they want. And very, I was actually a little touched um, when they said yes, because $20 for a draft, jumping up to $40 because of the price of the packs. Um, and they went with it. Okay, next pack. Tybalt Cosmic Imposter Token, or Emblem, I should say. That's going to be fun. Uh, my Snowland is Rimewood Falls, which is the blue-white, or sorry, the blue-green common snow duel. Rise of the Dreadmorn. One black, two other instant. Create X 2/2 black zombie berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that die this turn. And it has foretell for a single black. Again, uh, we're looking at the fact that, whoops, we're looking at the fact that it costs 3 to cast. You're paying 2 to exile it. You pay the third mana later. It's a $2 card, but it's going to be a good $2 card. It's going to be somebody casts a Wrath effect. This is an instant, so you'll be able to cast it. I believe you can cast it on your opponent's next turn. So if you're playing, say, a four-player game and you foretell this on your turn, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that on the next player's turn, if they cast any sort of Wrath effect, you have the ability to go, cool, you Wrath, 8 creatures died. 6 of them were actual creatures. I'll pay the extra 1 black mana, put out 6 2/2 tokens. I'm not complaining. Icebind Pillar. I saw a deck that Huey Jensen had put up as a Channel Fireball video, where he was playing Is It Snow, and this was in the deck. Um, 1 blue, 2 other, snow artifact, pay a snow mana, tap it. Tap target artifact or creature. Keep in mind, paying a snow mana means that pay a mana that is generated from any source that has the snow type. So, it doesn't have to be a land. So, most commonly, you're going to have things like Rimewood Falls. It's a snow land. That's going to tap for mana. Whatever mana that taps for, you can use. But that also means that if you have a artifact with the snow type and it ends up with the ability either inherently or it's granted by another means, suddenly now it taps for mana, it's a snow source, that works. Creatures, same thing. Um, Boreal Druid was, I believe, a 1/2 elf that tapped for 1 colorless mana, but it was snow mana. It wasn't tapping for green, it wasn't tapping for red or whatever. It was essentially colorless mana, but it was snow mana, which means anything that cared about snow mana as a cost, for example, like Icebind Pillar does, would work. Weathered Runestone. Oh yes, this is the arguably upgraded um Grafdigger's Cage. It costs 1 more mana, but it says non-land permanents in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Not just creatures. This means that if somebody's doing, I think, Follow the Thran, its second ability lets you start bring lands back. Oh no, this would allow the lands to come back, but it won't. Oh wow. Oh, that could hurt one deck that I was looking at. See, too many deck ideas. One deck that I want to build is for modern, and it accelerates out omniscience. And the way it does that, the way I had been looking at it, was using Obsidat's Aid, which is 1 black, 1 white, 3 other sorcery that can bring any permanent back into play from the graveyard. And so if you discarded omniscience, maybe you had zombie infestation out, and you discarded omniscience to zombie infestation. You then turn around and cast Obsidat's Aid to reanimate it, and now you've got omniscience in play, and now all your spells cost you zero actual mana. This will stop that because it's an enchantment trying to enter. Also, more realistically, it will stop Griff's Boon. It's not a big thing, but it will stop Griff's Boon. So if you happen to have one of these floating around, oh yeah, what was the rare? Oh yeah, Rise of the Dreadmine. Okay, Arnie's Arnie slays the troll. I wonder if they mean Arnie as in Arnold Schwarzenegger. One red, one green. It's a saga. Chapter 1, target creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. That sounds like Schwarzenegger. Chapter 2, add red to your mana pool. Yes, I'm still going to word it that way. Put 2+1/+1 counters on up to one target creature you control. Nice. So if you dropped a 1 drop on turn 1, even if it was like Birds of Paradise, um, Chapter 2 turns around and says, hey, by the way, that's now going to be a 2/3. Chapter 3, you gain life equal to the greatest power amongst creatures you control. That's not bad. That should be that should be interesting. Dwarven reinforcements. Just what we need. Just what we need. More dwarves. One red, three other sorcery. You get 2/1 dwarf berserker tokens. It's got a foretell cost of one red and one other. So again, 4 mana minus the 2 to actually XL it the first time. You're good. Draugr Thought Thief. One blue, two other for a 3/2. Enters battlefield. Look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that card in the graveyard. Zombie Rogue. I could see that being way down. No, I don't know this card. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. This is not a reprint from what I'm aware of. One black, sorcery, additional cost, exile creature card from your graveyard. There's a lot of exile from your own graveyard. Target creature gets -3/-3 till end of turn. Mammoth Growth. One green +2. Target creature gets +4/+4 till end of turn. Foretell of a green. Brine Barrow Intruder. One blue, 1/2. Flash. This is at common. It's a human rogue. Enters battlefield. Target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 till end of turn. That's going to be really good. That's actually really good at common. I mean, when the worst that it is, literally the worst it is, 1/2 with flash for a single blue mana. I'm not complaining. This is when you know the power curve has started to get pushed, when blue is starting to actually get pretty efficient creatures like that. Jarl of the Forsaken. And again, that's at common. Jarl of the Forsaken. One black +3 for a 3/2 flash. Enters battlefield. Destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Seems fine. And then foretell. One black +1. Ravelous Lindworm. 2 green +4, 6/6, enters battlefield, you gain 4 life. My god, Crawworm has been kicked to the curb so many times over the years. Crawworm used to be the I won't say the best big creature, but it was a big creature that everyone could get their hands on. It was common. And it was a card that you always had to worry if somebody was playing any kind of green based ramp deck. It was always a card you had to keep in mind. And it was 2 green plus 4 for 6/4. This is 2 green plus 4 for 6/6. Enters battlefield, gain 4 life. Poor Crawworm. Never saw it coming. Raven form. Oh, I like this card. And it's common. I love that. This is the thing. You'll see me go nuts over common cards because these cards are getting abilities that you wouldn't have seen coming otherwise. Like you just don't expect it. 1 blue plus 2. Sorcery. Exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. Foretell for a blue. Exile target artifact or creature for 3 mana. They get a 1/1 flyer. I'm going to exile your Vornclex. You can have a 1/1. I'm going to exile your Omniscience. You can have a 1/1. Sorry, not our Omniscience. Oh wow. Oh, there's some really nasty artifacts, but a lot of the nasty artifacts I'm thinking of are artifact creatures like Sundering Titan and Blightsteel Colossus, and have a 3 mana common that can just say, by the way, your giant nasty threat, here, have a 1/1 instead. Open the Omen Paths. Oh, yeah, this was the weird one. 1 red plus 2, instant. Choose one. Add 2 mana of any one color and 2 mana of any other color. Spend this mana only to cast creature or enchantment spells. So I think most commonly you're going to see it being, you're going to get 2 red and 2 green for 3 mana. But that's 4 mana. That's if you start looking at older formats, that's going to be 2 red and 2 blue. Or creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn. I think more realistically, it's going to end up getting played as some kind of ritual. But people are going to play goblins and they're going to play cards like this. And it's only for creature or enchantment spells. Gee, that's going to be so hard to deal with. Valor of the Worthy. Oh. Oh, this is another card that's going to go into that Ors enchantment deck that's based on like SRAM and all that glitters and all that other jazz. 1 white, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. When an enchanted creature leaves the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. That's going to end up being. That's going to actually. I think that's going to replace something in that deck. No, maybe it won't replace the cartouche. I don't know. But it'll be interesting. What was it when the creature dies you get a 1/1? When enchant creature leaves the battlefield. Interesting. Tyvar Kel token. Or not token, emblem. He looks kind of cool. Snow-covered plains. Oh. Oh, that's pretty. I got my first full art. Quakebringer. That is this guy. View. $10. 2 red, 3 other, 5/4 giant berserker. Your your opponents can't gain life. At the beginning of your upkeep, Quakebringer deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability triggers only if Quake Trigger is on the battlefield, or if Quakebringer is in your graveyard and you control a giant. Foretell, 2 red plus 2. Slightly higher foretell cost than you would expect otherwise. It's 5 mana to cast it normally. It's 4 mana if you're casting it from exile because your foretold it. But yeah, I got this guy. And he's $10. About $8 US. Not bad. I'm just taking a quick look because no. Okay. So apparently that is my rare. I haven't bought a lot of packs recently. Um Path to the World Tree. 1 green plus 2 enchantment. Enters the battlefield. Search for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put in your hand. Then shuffle your library. Pay 1 mana of each color and 2 more. So 7 in total. Mixed between 5 different colors. And sack the enchantment. Gain 2 life. Draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. 2 damage to up to 1 target creature. Make a 2/2 bear token. Valkyrie's Sword. The first card that I've run into from this box that is there's a group of I think it's a cycle of equipment that has a certain cost, and when it comes into play you can pay an additional cost to make a token and then attach that equipment to the token. Valkyrie's Sword, 1 white plus 1. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 white plus 4. So you can, instead of paying 2 mana, you can pay 7. If you do, create a 4/4 white angel warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. So Sarah Angel, basically. Then attach Valkyrie's Sword to it. Equip creature gets +2/+1. So you can pay 2 mana. Oh, it's got an equip cost of 3. So you can pay 2 mana and have an equipment that gives something +2/+1. Or you can pay 7 mana and end up with a 6/5 flying vigilance. Seems decent. Anything that gives you additional flexibility is always going to be nice. Call the Forge Master. I need you. I got the pretty version of him. I wonder if that's actually worth. Okay, it's a little over $1 US. For reference, the regular print is 50 cents Canadian, so yeah. The pretty version's worth almost 3 times as much. 1 white, 1 red, 2/2 dwarf, legendary dwarf warrior. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. Okay. Creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get +1/+1. So, number 1, the only creatures this guy cares about have to either be enchanted or equipped. If they're tokens, they get +1/+1. If they're not tokens, if they die, you get to bring them back to your hand. Pilfering Hawk. Okay. This is basically Stormcrow. One blue, one other for 1/2 flyer. Pay a snow mana, tap it to draw a card, then discard. That's going to be decent. Again, we're starting to go through the commons, but that's going to be decent. Stalwart Valkyrie. Oh yes, Stalwart Valkyrie is castable in Modern on turn one, and it's not hard. It's not easy, but it's not hard. It's one white and three for a 3/2 flyer. Okay, so basically the backside of um, Delver's Secrets. You may pay one white and one other and exile creature card from your graveyard rather than paying the spell's mana cost. So, the way I see it, turn one, I play a mountain. I tap it. I drop Wild, Wild Cantor. I sack it for white white mana. I exile Simian Spirit Guide. I now have one white and one red mana, and a creature card in my graveyard. That gives me the ability to cast this on turn one. That's not bad. The problem is, of course, Lightning Bolt and Fatal. Well, no, Fatal Push won't work unless you've got it. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, unless you've sacked a fetch to be able to do it, or something of that nature. But, yeah. Bergstrider enters battlefield. Tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls. If snow was spent to cast a spell, that permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Not bad. One blue, four other for 4/4 that can tap down an opposing creature or artifact. I'll tap down your Soul Ring. You can't untap it next turn. Or more realistically, I'll tap down if you're worrying about format with Soul Ring and it's not vintage. So EDH, etc. Probably I tap down your Gilded Lotus and you can't untap it next turn. Feed the Serpent. 2 black, +2, instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker. I am not complaining. Um, there are there are times you want to exile things instead of uh, instead of destroy them, and finding good ways to exile creatures, especially at common, is not easy. Elderleaf Mentor. Oh, one green +3 for a 3/2 elf warrior. Comes into play, you get a 1/1 elf warrior token. Okay. Priest of the Haunted Edge. One black, one other for a 0/4 zombie cleric. Feels weird saying zombie cleric was a 0/4. Tap and sack it. Oh, it is a snow creature. Target creature gets -X/-X till end of turn. X is the number of snowlands you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Nice. Tormentor's Helm. One red. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever a quick creature comes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player. Equip cost of 1. Uh, I think I've got a deck for that. Dogged Pursuit. Oh, okay. Now, remember how I was saying I like to brew and I like Pauper? One deck I've been wanting to find a way to actually legitimately make work in Pauper is a life deck along the ideas of what people normally do for life decks in other formats, i.e., having an actual payoff for gaining that extra life. That's been hard. Well, in I think I want to say it was M19 or something like that. Sometime in the last 2 or 3 years, they had a vampire, I believe it was, that was 1 black plus 4 for 4/4, and whenever you gained life, your opponent lost life. And then in Zendikar Rising, he created a smaller version, Marauding Blight Priest. Say 3/2 for 1 black plus 2. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. This gives you actual legitimate payoffs for gaining life. Every time you gain life, your opponent goes, ow, ow, ow. Now, Dogged Pursuit. 1 black plus 3, common enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So, let's say you play the Blight Priest on turn 3 and the Pursuit on turn 4. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So, you lose a life, I gain a life, but I gained a life, so now you lose another life. So every turn, your opponent loses 2 life and you gain 1. Seems kind of good. Battlefield Raptor. This might replace some of the other options in that aura stack that I was talking about. 1 white for a 1/2 flying first strike. Having first strike is huge. An Axguard Cavalry. 1 red 2/2 Dwarf Berserker. Tap target creature gains haste till end of turn. Seems fine. I think I'm at the point where unless I notice something specifically notable, I'm going to start ignoring the commons. Oh, this is one of the, for when you've got a double-sided card and you don't have the actual, you don't have a, you want to be able to say, hey, by the way, it's this on one side, it's this on the other side, and you're not playing with sleeves for whatever reason. You can go, hey, by the way, this is what it is. Glacial Floodplain. Nice. Oh, foil. I don't expect you to be expensive, but I expect you to be decent. Cardor's Vicious Return. As a foil, is $1.30. Nice. You may sack chapter 1, so it's 1 black, 1 red, 2 other. Saga, obviously, you can tell by the picture on the screen. Over on this side. There we go. Chapter 1, you may sack a creature. When you do, deals 3 damage to any target. Chapter 2, each player discards a card. Chapter 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put +1/+1 counter on it, gains haste till your next turn. Boop. And my rare is Battle for Bretagod. Battle for Bretagard. Which is that one. Ah, standard dollar rare. uh, oh yeah, one green, one white, one other. Chapter 1, you get a 1/1 human warrior token. Chapter 2, you get a elf green warrior token. Chapter 3, choose any number of artifact tokens and or creature tokens you control with different names. For each of them, create a token that's a copy of it. So basically, like mass populate. Doomscar Titan. Uh, 2 red plus 4. Giant Berserker. 4/4. Enters battlefield. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste till end of turn. 4/12 for 1 red plus 4. Again, you're only cutting 1 mana off of this, not 2. But that being said, you're also cutting a colored mana off. Normally, when you're cutting 2 mana off, it's 2 colorless mana. So when you start looking at how things are costed, it's not uncommon to see a a colored mana and 2 colorless mana line up with each other. Elven Bow. This is another one of those, hey, I'll pay extra to get a token and then auto equip it. 1 green, equip costs a 3. Equip creature gets +1/+2 and has reach. You can pay 2 when it comes into play to get a 1/1 elf warrior token and attach it. So then you pay 3 mana, so 1 mana for the equipment, or 3 mana to essentially get a 2/3 with reach. Replicating Ring. Snow Artifact. Tap for 1 mana of any color. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a night counter on Replicating Ring. Then if it has 8 or more night counters on it, night as in remove all of them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicating Ring with tap at 1 mana of any color. So this is the Replicating Ring. They are called Replicated Ring. Frostbite. This is the new shock/lightning bolt, but does not hit players. It's a shock at any time. It's more like a lightning bolt if you have 3 or more snow permanents. Another ox. Woot. Advertising card for Arena. I already play it. Snow covered forest. Mystic Reflection. Okay, that's. I would be very surprised if that's not worth more than. Like, if that's not worth even $3, I'm going to be confused. Because there are combo decks that want that card. Mystic Reflection. Kaldheim. View. Thank you. 1360. That's so about $11 US. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. So you're telling me that if okay, first of all, nowhere on this card does it say token or non-token. So if I create 3 1/1 goblin tokens and somebody goes, hey, by the way, they're going to come and play as copies of Siege Rhino. I don't get 3 goblin tokens. I get 3 tokens that are copies of Siege Rhino. That also means that if somebody tries to cast, I don't know, the new Tybalt, and somebody responds with this and goes, "Hey, see that 1/1 bird token? Yeah, it's going to come in as a copy of that 1/1 bird token instead." Crap. 1 blue plus 1, foretell for 1. I'm going to like that. That card is going to be fun. Invasion of the Giants. 1 blue, 1 red. Chapter 1, scry 2. Chapter 2, draw a card. Then you may reveal a giant card from your hand. When you do, Invasion of the Giants deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Chapter 3, the next giant spell you cast this turn costs 2 less to cast. Sounds fun. Have to build around that one. That one requires you to play giants. It doesn't work otherwise. Surprise, surprise. Provoke the trolls. 1 red plus 3. 3 damage to any target. If a creature. Oh, yeah. If a creature is dealt damage this way, gets +5/+0 till end of turn. I kind of want to throw that at a brash taunter and go. So I'm going to deal 3 damage to it. Well, no, that's actually 3 damage to you. By the way, this is now a 5/1. By the way, now I'm going to fight your creature. So, yeah, kill your creature and take some more damage. Oh, yeah, the new Vampire Nighthawk variant. Vengeful Reaper. 1 black plus 3, 2/3, Flying Death Touch Haste. With Foretell for 1 black and 1. Starnhelm Courser. 1 white plus 2 for a 2/2 flyer. Artifact and enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That should be fun. Carfell Harbinger. 1 blue plus 1 for 1/3 zombie wizard. Tap for blue. Spend only to foretell a card or to cast an instant or sorcery. You don't see a lot of cards that are blue that say, "Hey, by the way, tap me for mana." Regardless of why. You don't see it a lot. Ooh. Demolish has officially been kicked to the curb. 1 red plus 3. Smashing success. 1 red plus 3 instant. Destroy target, artifact, or land. Exact same thing that Demolish does, but it's an instant. And if an artifact is destroyed this way, create a treasure token. No big deal. Next pack. There you are. There we go. Speaking of which, there's the Kaldheim treasure token. Snow covered mountain, thank you. Foil dusk wielder, nice. Ooh, Dream Devourer. I don't expect you to be a lot. Dream Devourer. Oh, really? 5 and change. So about a little over $4 US. Nice. 1 black plus 1 for 0/3 Demon Cleric. Each non-land card in your hand without foretell has foretell. Its foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. So, Wrath of God is it'll pay you 2 to exile it face down, and then it'll cost 2 white to actually cast it from exile. Um, Gilded Lotus, I'll pay 2 now. I'll pay 3 the next turn. Have a nice day. Whenever you foretell a card, Dream Devourer gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Rune of Mortality. You remember that card that I told you about that gives a creature an ability or a equipment the ability to give that same ability to the creature that it's equipped to? Yeah, right. They're called runes. Okay. Rune is now a subtype, just like Aura is. Um, yeah, this one gives Death Touch. It's a 2 mana and it cantrips. Gates of Istfell. Tap for white. Tap 1 white, +2 blue, +2. Tap and sack the gates. Gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. I'm kind of surprised these guys are not snow lands, but I guess they don't want all of the lands in the set to be snow. Blizzard Brawl. Choose creature you control and target creature you don't control. This is a 1 green snow sorcery. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, the creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible till end of turn. Then those creatures fight each other. They're going to fight regardless. It's just there's a boost if you've got enough snow permanents. Stalwart Valkyrie, nice. Oh, Horizon Seeker. That one lets you fetch basic lands out of your deck as a boast ability for 3 mana. Sorry, for a cost of 2 on a 3 mana 3/2. That's not bad. Golden Pickaxe. Oh, that's hilarious. 2 mana. Equipment. Equip creature gets +1/+1. Equip cost of 1. Whenever a quick creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Sure. Raiders Carve. 3 casting cost vehicle. It's a 4/4 with a crew cost of 3. Whenever it attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a lane card, you may put it on the battlefield tapped. Again, that's common. That seems actually kind of fun. I just might end up using that, and actually I could throw that into an EDH deck. Okay, so there's my double-sided token thingy, and I get a snow-covered swamp for this pack. Saruf Realm Eater. Saruf Realm Eater. I think this is supposed to be, oh good lord, I can't remember his name. Really? You're that cheap? God damn it. The Fenris Wolf. 1 black, 1 green, 1 other. 3/3 wolf. Legendary. Whenever a permanent opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on this roll for all meat. So on this guy. At the beginning of your upkeep, if he's got one or more +1 counters on them, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. Okay, so when one of your opponent's permanents hits the graveyard from the battlefield, so whenever a creature dies or they crack a fetch or whatever, as long as the card's not getting exiled instead, um, you're going to put a +1/+1 counter on the wolf. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, you can choose to either not remove counters or remove all of them. If you remove all of them, exile each other non-land permanent. So he's going to stay. The lands are going to stay. Anything that's got converted mana cost equal to or less than the number of counters you removed is going to go bye-bye. Maja, Bredeguard Protector, 2 white, 1 green +2, 2/3 human warrior. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever land enters battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Oh god. Okay. Not as bad. There's a nice little mono green combo deck that you can put together. I want to actually put it together for modern, and it requires Life and Limb and Spore Mound. And Life and Limb basically says all saplings are also forests, and all forests are also 1/1 saplings. And Spore Mound says whenever a land comes into play under your control, make a sapling token. But if you've got Life and Limb in play, that sapling token is also a forest, which is a land. So a land just came into play. So you make a sapling, which is also a forest. And it keeps going and going and going and going. Yeah. So you take this, find a way to make the the humans also saplings. And you can do the same sort of thing. Return of the Tide. Oh yeah. Sorry, Return Upon the Tide. Uh, 1 black, 4 other, reanimate a creature. If it's an elf, you get 2 1/1 elf tokens as well. Elf warrior tokens. And foretell cost of 1 black +3. And Lichara Mirror Like. Enters tap, tap for blue. Pay 1 blue, 2 green, +2. Tap and sack the lake. Create a token that's copy a target creature you control, except it enters with an additional +1 counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Alright. Boop. Next pack. Open, says me. Hey, play arena. The white blue, or sorry, the white red, um, snow dual land. Egon. Pretty Egon. Egon, God of Death. Not, unfortunately, Egon, God of Death Metal. 350, so about 275, I think, US. One black plus two, 6/6 Death Touch. Beginning of your upkeep, exile two cards from your graveyard. If you can't, sack Egon and draw a card. And the flip side of it is Throne of Death. One black, legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Pay one black plus two, tap, and exile creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. No big deal. No big deal. Kaya's Onslaught is going to be silly. One white plus two, instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 and double strike till end of turn. Foretell of a white. Follow the Imposter. One white, one green, one other. Put +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature for that's chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 3, exile creature with the greatest power among creatures target opponent controls. Oh yeah, your biggest creature? Bye-bye. Can't have it anymore. Great Hollow Starnhelm. Enters tap, tap for black. Pay a black and two white. Tap, sack the hall. And a creature you control. Get a 4/4 Flying Vigilance Angel Warrior token. So get a Sarah Angel token. They reprint Disdainful Stroke. Nice. Cinder Cinderheart Giant. 2 red +5 for a 7/6 trample giant berserker. When it dies, deals 7 damage to a creature an opponent controls chosen at random. Oh, Story Seeker. 1 white +1 other 2/2 lifelink. Noise. Again, just because it's common doesn't mean it's a bad card or not interesting. At least, this early. Ah, Human Warrior token. Oh. Okay, Snow Covered Mountain. The World Tree. View that one. $14 is regular. Mine's foil. Which means it's $30. Which is 34 fifths. About $24 US. I'm not complaining. Okay, I'll get back to that in a sec. Okay, so land, enters tapped, tap for green. As long as you control 6 or more lands, lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black, 2 red, 2 green. Tap, sack the World Tree. Search for any number of God cards, put them on the battlefield, and shuffle your library. No big deal. That's my foil. Foil replaces a common. So what did I get for my rare? 1 out of every 8, roughly, rares, which I think is slightly better, is a mythic. Oh look, I got Vorinclex. $56, so Yeah, yeah. I think I did okay with this pack. 2 green plus 4, 6/6 trample haste. If you're going to put counters on a permanent or player, no. Put twice that number instead. If an opponent will put counters on a permanent or player, no, they get half, rounded down. Hey, I get 3 counters. No, you get one. But I get 3 counters. No, I get 6. Interaction with planeswalkers. Actually, I think this might actually work with planeswalkers better. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But let's pull up doubling season for a moment, since that's the go-to. Whoops. That's the go-to ability. Actually, what does this actually say? If you would put one or more counters on hold the phone. Literally in this case. uh you. You. Kaldheim release notes. Vorinclex. Doesn't say. I will have to find out, but so here's the wording on Vorinclex. If you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kind of counters on that permanent or player instead. Okay. Doubling season. I think that's... No, that's not the one I want. This is the one I want. Doubling season says if an effect would put one or more counters on a permanent you control. Okay. So doubling season, by default, cards don't enter with counters on them. By default. So what that means is any card that enters with counters is doing something unusual. A replacement effect says, hey, put counters on this thing. Note the term replacement effect. Doubling season says if an effect would put one or more counters. So since a replacement effect is doing it, is putting counters on a planeswalker or a hydra or whatever when it comes into play, it says, it enters, do this. You get twice as many counters. Vorinclex simply says if you would put one or more counters on. I believe And feel free to correct me, and this will get posted to YouTube. Feel free to correct me in the comments there. But I'll look into that. But I believe that means that if you're paying a cost on a planeswalker and you're using one of its plus abilities that say, hey, put a counter on, or put 3 counters or 2 counters or whatever, but you're adding counters, you actually get to add more counters because it doesn't say if an effect would do it. The other thing to point out is the word effect refers to the effect of a spell or an ability as well. But yeah, there's Mr. Vorinclex all nice and happy and going roar charge. Him plus Bark Double is going to be fun. Uh, Spirit of the Elder Guard. Enters the battlefield, search for a Snowland card, reveal, put in your hand, and shuffle your library. 1 green, 3 other for 0/4. Uh, for a snow creature dash bear spirit. Gets +1/+0 for each other snow permanent you control in the room. So the fact that he's snow is actually relevant. So if you have another one of these, they're going to give each other +1/+0 for being snow. Igar, the freezing flame. Arr. Yes, sounds like a pirate to me. The freezing flame. Boop. Meh, less than $1. Uh, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 other. 3/3 giant wizard. Whenever a creature, a planeswalker, an opponent controls is dealt. Oh yeah, is dealt excess damage. So damage more than what would be lethal damage. If a giant wizard or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. Divine Gambit. Haha. I like this thing. This thing's hilarious. 2 white sorcery. Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment opponent controls. That player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. So I'm going to exile your Muxus. What are you going to put in play instead of Muxus? If you're lucky, another Muxus. If you're not, uh, mm, squash. Reprint Village Rites. Woot. Reprint Annul. Meh. I'm going to keep this pack aside. Because the contents of this pack were, well, let's just say they were kind of good. Shapeshifter token. There's an artifact that makes 2/2 shapeshifter tokens. Snow-covered forest. Dragonkin Berserker. You're gonna be cute. Dragonkin Berserker. Meh, dollar rare. 2/2 first strike, human berserker. Both abilities you activate cost 1 less for each dragon you control. Boast, pay 1 red +4. Get a 5/5 flying dragon. No big deal. No big deal. It's fine. It's fine. Which also means that it's going to only cost you 4 to do it. Because it's a boast ability. It's fine. Scumfar Elder Hall. This one is the land that taps for green. Pay 1 green, 2 black, 2 other. Tap and sack. Activate only as a sorcery. Up to one target creature you don't control gets -2/-2 till end of turn, and you get 2 elf tokens. Vega, the Watcher. This one wants you to play with Foretell. One white, one blue, one other. 2/2 legendary bird spirit. Flying. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. Now, in this set, it wants you to play with Foretell. In other formats, casting from anywhere other than your hand also includes casting from your graveyard. So now you can do things like casting with flashback, um, or hypothetically casting from. I mean, Foretell is from exile, but you could cast other things from exile. There's Miss Hello Griffin, I think it is, allows you to cast it from exile, etc. Ruined Crayon. Okay. 3 casting cost equipment. 2 to equip. Equip creature gets +1. +1. When it enters the battlefield, search your hand, library, hand, and or graveyard for a rune card and put onto the battlefield attached to Ruined Crayon. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So the runes, that cycle of auras that I mentioned earlier, that give a creature an ability or an equipment the capability to give an equipped creature that same ability. Iron Verdict, 5 damage target tapped creature. That's going to kill many, many lots of things. Oh, Depart the Realm. Um, Disperse has now been kicked to the curb because this is the same as Disperse, except it's got a foretell of a blue as well. Disperse, if you don't know, one blue, one other. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Did you? Raven Wings. Keck. 2 casting cost equipment. 2 to equip. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, has flying, and is a bird in addition to its other types. Has everybody heard about the bird? Oh my. Ice Hide Troll. Common. 1 green +2, 2, 3. Pay 2 snow mana. Ice Hide Troll gets +2/+0, gains indestructible till end of turn. Tap it. Noise. Alright. So that's the first stack. Well, which order it was in, I don't know, but that was stack 1. That was one of the 3 stacks of 12 packs. Woot. Snow covered Okay. Snow covered plains. The card for scrolling which double face card you're using. Uh, hmm. There we go. We didn't start the Kaya. We didn't start the Kaya. Phew. $8, so about 6 and change US. 1 black, 1 white, +3. Comes into play with 5 loyalty. +1. Put a ghost form counter on up to 1 target non-token creature. Note that the counter itself doesn't actually do anything. It's basically there for bookmarking purposes. i.e., hey, remember this has this cool thing it does. It gains when this creature dies or is put into exile, return it to its owner's hand and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. What? This did more than I thought it did. Actually, no, it doesn't do more than it. I thought it returned the creature to play because I think that's what Kaya's Ghost form actually did. This returns the creature to its owner's hand, and you get a 1/1 token instead. Huh. It still does make it to where you sent it. It still does make it um, to the graveyard or exile. But then it goes from there to owner's its owner's hand. -3, exile target non-land permanent. -7, you get an emblem with. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. There's a combo for this in Historic, and by extension, anything bigger. Um, Karn's Temporal Sundering is basically a time walk for I think it's like 6 or 7 mana. And but it's a legendary sorcery, so you can only cast it if you've got a legendary creature out or a planeswalker out. And it gives you an extra turn, and the last part of its resolution is you exile it. But because it's a legendary sorcery, it's a legendary spell. Which Kaya, her ultimate, will let you cast it from exile. You can do that every turn. At the beginning of your take it because if you take a good look at this last ability here, you get an emblem with. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. Legendary sorcery, last part of its resolution, goes to exile. Beginning of your upkeep, you cast it from exile without paying its mana cost. Then it gets exiled again at the end of its resolution, which means it's in exile and somewhere that Kaya can cast from again and again and again. Frostaugur. 1 blue, snow creature, human wizard, 1/2. Pay a snow, tap, look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow card, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. Considering there's snow instants and snow sorceries in this set, filling a deck of nothing but snow cards is not unreasonable. Finn the Fangbearer. 1 green, 1 other, 1/3 Death Touch. Legendary Human Warrior. Oh, whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. No big deal. Here, have some poison. Yeah. The funny thing about poison is until you hit 10, it doesn't matter how much you've got. You could have 9 and it still doesn't do anything to you. It's the last one that gets you. Cardboard Doom Scourge. 1 black, 1 red, 2 other. 4/3 Legendary Demon Berserker. Enters battlefield until your next turn. Creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able. Okay, so this really wants to be a multiplayer card. So if you're talking a 4-player game, there's me, there's you, there's um, you know, another person, and You play this. And now the three of us have got our creatures going. All our creatures have to attack if we can, and we can't attack you. Damn. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent get. This is the same card, by the way. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses one life and you gain one life. No big deal. Berg Strider. Demon Bolt. Huh. Demon Bolt's cute. It reminds me a little bit of Rift Bolt. Foretell cost is a red, so 2 to exile face down, 1 to cast later. Instant, 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Normally costs 1 red plus 2. So anybody but a player. Here, take 4 damage. Take 4. Take 4. The nice thing about the fun thing about Foretell is it allows you to still be able to play the game when you're having mana issues. Um, if you can get to 2 land but you can't get to 3 for whatever reason, this still gives you an ability to cast a 3 mana card by paying 2 now and 1 on a following turn. Saw you, saw you, saw you, saw you. Haha. Nice. Arachnoform. 1 green, 1 other. Aura. Enchant creature gets +2/+2, has reach, and is every creature type. That's cute. Next pack. Dun 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 dun. L4-year token. Sulphurous Mire. Ah. This card is either going to be worth a fair bit or worth almost nothing. Tusky, Bearer of Secrets. 520, so about $4 US. Okay. Tusky, I believe, is based on Ratatoskr. I think that's his name. He was. There was a squirrel that lived in Yggdrasil. And I think it was like there was like a serpent at the bottom and an eagle at the top. And he would run up and down the tree telling, bringing news from one to the other. Not all his stories were accurate, so he was kind of a. Yeah. 1 green, 3 other, 1/1. Can't be countered. Indestructible. He's a legendary squirrel. It's a 4 mana 1/1 indestructible squirrel. Tax each combat. Well, that tax each combat fable. That makes sense because he's running around, running around, and running around. How are you going to stop him? Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Just because. Crush the weak. Pyroclasm that says, by the way, stuff that would die, exile it. Yeah. Pyroclasm, 1 red, 1 other, sorcery, 2 damage to each creature. This is 1 red to each other. Sorry, 1 red, 2 other. So 1 mana more. 2 damage to each creature. If creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Keep in mind that an ability like that doesn't actually say it has to die from this. Did it take damage from this? Yes. Did it die this turn? Yes. Exile it. By the way, foretell cost of a red. Inga Rune Eyes. 1 blue plus 3, legendary human wizard, 3/3. Enters the battlefield scry 3. When it dies, draw 3 cards if 3 or more creatures died this turn. Not 3 or more other. So 3 mana, sorry, 4 mana, 3/3 comes into play scry 3. When it dies, did at least 2 others die with it? Yeah? Cool. Draw 3. Seems perfectly legit. And it's a human wizard, by the way. As if wizards didn't get, you know, enough to play with as is. Clarion Spirit. 1 white, 1 other, 2/2 spirit. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, have a spirit token. do, 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 do. Oh, Vault Robber. That's cute. 1 red, 1 other. Last card in this pack. For a 1/3 Dwarf Rogue. Pay 1, tap it, exile creature card from your graveyard. Make a treasure token. So you're turning dead bodies into treasure. I guess you're looting their graves or something? I don't know. Next pack. Human Warrior token, Highland Forest. Harold unites the elves. Harold unites the elves. Dollar rare. One green, 1 black, 2 other. Saga. Um, Chapter 1, Mill 3. You can put an elf or Tivar card from your graveyard onto the battlefield. Chapter 2, put a +1/+1 counter on each elf you control. Chapter 3, whenever an elf you control attacks this turn, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 till end of turn. So, this is going to trigger multiple times because it's whenever an elf you control attacks. I attack with 5 creatures. Each of them are elves. So I'm going to have 5 triggers. I can put all 5 on the same one, or I can split those 5 triggers up. Fearless Liberator. I think I've seen this. No, I don't think I've seen this one before. 1 red, 1 other, 2/1 Dwarf Berserker. Boast. Pay 1 red +2. Get another 2/1 Dwarf token. Avalanche Caller. This should go into my mono blue aggro deck. 1 blue, 1 other, 1/3. Snow creature, human wizard. Pay 2. Target snow land you control. Becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with hexproof and haste until end of turn. It's still a land. Morita the Frost. 2 blue, 1 green +2. Legendary snow creature shapeshifter with changeling. Can enter as a copy of any permanent you control, except it's legendary and snow in addition to its other types, and if it's a creature, it enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters and has changeling. Okay. So first of all, if you copy something not legendary, okay. Um, well, there's not very much that's not legendary in here. Okay, so you've got a vanilla 4/4 creature. This comes into play as a copy of that. This, this copy is Snow, legendary. Gets 2+1/+1 counters, so it's a 6/6. The legend rule only cares about if you've got two legendary permanents with the same name. If you copied something that was not legendary and something that's legendary, and you've got a legendary one now, you only have one that's legendary, regardless if they got the same name or not. Oh yes. Next card, Bound in Gold. They like there's certain abilities they like coming back to. In this case, you've got Arrest. Um, one blue or sorry, one white, two other. Enchant permanent. Enchant creature can't attack, block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. That's normal for Arrest. This one also says it can't crew vehicles. That's a common. Boop. Next pack. Arr. Dwarf Berserker token. Snow covered island. Foil Axe Guard Braggart. We've had that before. Hengegate Path. I'm still not a fan of pathways. People can. I've yet to find a situation, personally, where I would rather have a pathway instead of something else. Hengegate Pathway. Yeah. 530, so yeah, about $4 US. White on one side, blue on the other. Hellstorm Valkyrie. Oh yeah, I've seen this before. One black plus three, 2/2. It's a snow creature, angel wizard. That's an interesting combination. Not a combination you see very often. Flying trample, or as some people like to call it, flample. Pay two snow mana. It gets +2/+2 to end a turn. It's kind of cool. Basalt Ravager, or Basalt. I don't know. BASALT. Take your pick. It works for me. One red plus three, 4/2. Enters battlefield. X damage chain target, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have a creature type in common. So basically, you figure out. I have six creatures in play. Out of all the combinations of creature types that I have, how can I get the biggest shared number? So if like these three share something and none of these three share anything with these ones, okay, it's three. But if I've got like a dwarf wizard, an elf wizard, an elf warrior, a human warrior, you know, at that point I'm maxed out at two. But if I also have a creature with changeling, well, now I can say, hey, changeling, are you also an elf? Yeah, well, now that makes three. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm gonna and it deals X damage to any target, which is nice. So minimum damage it's gonna deal is one because if that ends up being the only, that's a flame tongue Kavu. That's a very low flame tongue Kavu. That's hilarious. Furia, Judge of Valor. 2 black, 1 white, 2 other. 2/4 Legendary Angel Cleric. Flying Lifelink. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one in your hand and the rest in your graveyard. I don't expect you to be worth a lot because you're uncommon. Furia, Judge of Valor. But you're the pretty art. $2 and change. Do, do. Oh yeah, and Wither the Crown. That is a weird common. 1 black, 1 other. Enchant creature. Enchant creature has base power 0, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. That is such a weird card. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's weird. Having a card that turns around and says, by the way, set your power to 0. Uh, Zombie Berserker token. That looks cool. Ice Tunnel. That's your your black blue Snow Duel. All right, what are you? Jorn, God of Winter. Pretty art. $30 for that, so about 24-ish US. uh, 1 green plus 2 for a 3/3 legendary snow creature god. When it attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. And its backside is Kaldheim the Rhyme Staff. 1 black, 1 blue, 1 other for legendary snow artifact. You may play target snow permanent from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped. But you're getting to get something from your graveyard. You're getting to cast something from your graveyard. Has to be a snow permanent, but yeah, shrug, don't care. Rune of Might. This rune gives +1/+1 and trample. Rune of Sustenance, excuse me. This rune gives +1/+1 and lifelink. Frenzied Raider. 1 red, +1 for a 2/2 Demon Berserker. Whenever you activate a boast ability, put +1/+1 counter on Frenzied Raider. Sculptor of Winter. 1 green +1 for a 2/2 1-tap a Snowland. Reprint Revitalize. Nice. I'm curious, what does the normal print of Jorn go for? Oh, so much cheaper. Okay. Maybe I'll trade in the fancy version of Skyfox, get the regular version, and then save up the rest of trade credit. Flying Spirit Token, Snow Covered Forest, Darkboard Pathway. I'm presuming you're also going to be like $5. Darkboard Pathway. 640, so slightly morty. Womp womp. So yeah, about 5 US ish. Black on one side, green on the other. Because black green is doing really well right now. They've got a saga that it's like chapter 1 blows something up, and it's like 4 mana to cast it. Blood Sky Berserker. 1 black +1. 1/1. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put 2+1/+1 counters on Blood Sky Berserker. It gains menace till end of turn. So, hypothetically, turn 2 you play this. Turn 3 you play 2 1-drops. Let's say your first 1-drop is like something that pumps this guy, like an aura. Cool. And then it gets like then it gets 2+1 counters from them. So if your first thing was an enchantment, you go, that gives say +1/+1. So now this is a 2/2. So now this is a 4/4 on turn 3. That's not bad. Cardor's Vicious Return. We did that one already. Port of Carfell. This is the non-snow land, taps for blue. Pay 2 black, +1 blue, +3, tap and sack. Doesn't say is a sorcery. Mill 4, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Does not say is a sorcery. Alright. Boop. Red blue, foil dwarven hammer. The red artifact that gives you the chance to pay extra to get a creature and auto equip. This is gonna be fun. Mask Wood Nexus. 680. So 5-ish. Yeah, a little over $5 US. Forecasting cost artifact. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. So creature spells you control is something asks whenever you cast a goblin spell. Or whenever you cast a Eldrazi spell or whatever. If you've got the Nexus in play, suddenly every creature spell that you cast counts for all those triggers. And creature cards that you own that aren't on the battlefield. You own everything in your library, everything in your hand, everything in exile. You own. The only thing that has somewhere, and in your graveyard, the only place off the top of my head that has somewhere that you control but don't necessarily own, most of the time is on the battlefield. You own it, you control it until somebody gains control of it from you. There's a very small handful of cards that can steal a spell that's on the stack. Most of the time, you own it, you control it. Yeah, yeah. So, remember that card I mentioned earlier that has all your creatures come into play as a copy of something else? Sorry, wrong card. Actually, yeah, wrong card. I think it was the World Tree I was thinking of, actually. Where did I... Yeah. So activate the last ability on the world tree. Search for any number of god cards, put them on the battlefield, and shuffle your library. Creatures you control are every creature type. Same as yada yada. Creature cards you own that. Okay. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. A creature only exists on the battlefield. If it's something being cast and hasn't resolved yet, it's a creature spell. If it's something in a zone other than on the stack or in play, it's a creature card. So in your library, it's a creature card. Which is why Maskwood Nexus refers to creatures, creature spells, and creature cards as three separate things. Because they are three distinct things. And then its last ability is pay 3 tap. Uh, Make a 2/2 shapeshifter token with changeling. Changeling again. Hi, I have all creature types. So this, in combination with the Royal Tree, equals take all the creatures out of your deck, put them all into play. Have a nice day. uh, Glimpse the Cosmos. 1 blue plus 1. Right, okay. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 in your hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. And as long as you control a giant, you can. Basically, this has got flashback of a single blue. I.e., you can cast this from your graveyard by paying a blue, and that's it. Whoops. Uh, Colossal Plow. I am amused and bemused by this card. When it. So, it's a vehicle. It's a 6/3 vehicle that costs 2 to cast. And a crew costs a 6. Incidentally, if you have that Ox, you tap the Ox and you're done. When it attacks, add 3 white to your mana pool and gain 3 life. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So you will keep that 3 mana till the end of the turn. That is a card you can use for ramping in white. And that's not something you see very often. At least, not unless it's part of a cycle that everybody gets. For example, back in, I think it was Mirage Block, there was the Diamonds. 2 cast and cost artifact comes in a play tapped. Tap, add 1 mana of the appropriate color. Marble Diamond tap for white, Sky Diamond for blue, Charcoal Diamond for black, Fire Diamond for red, and I'm drawing a blank on the green one. I will probably remember it later. But yeah, every color had its own. Moss Diamond. Uh, Ascent of the Worthy. Oh yeah. 1 white, 1 black, 1 other saga. Chapter 1, choose a creature you control. Till your next turn, all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control is dealt to that creature instead. Chapter 3, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with a flying counter on it. That creature is an angel warrior in addition to its other types. No big deal. I so love this snowland that says choose color, and it taps for that. I would so much rather have. I would almost straight up have that instead of a pathway. I don't know. Ooh. You have a token to show where your foretold cards are kept. Snow-covered plains, the black-green snow land. Furious Retribution. I don't have that one currently. Furious Retribution. Boop. Ah, dollar rare. Chapter 1. Make a Sarah Angel token. Chapter 2. Till end of turn, angels you control gain tap, destroy target creature with power less than this creature's power. Chapter 3. Angels you control gain double strike till end of turn. No big deal. It's it's fine. It's fine. That's going in Kalia. Dual strike. Um, get an extra copy of a spell. No big deal. Frostpire Arcanist. Huh. Weird card is weird. Enters battlefield. You search for a spell that you've already got a copy of in your graveyard and put in your hand. Draugr's Helm. This you get a 2/2 zombie. Ooh, equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has menace. Nice. Yeah, I'm starting to trim down on what the situation with the uncommons is now, as you can tell. Treasure tokens, snow covered forest. Right, you. I know you. You, sadly, are not going in Kalia. Glorious Protector. Kalia the Vast. That's what her name was. 250. Alright. So, 2 white, 2 other, 3/4 Angel Cleric Flash Flying. Enters the battlefield, you may exile a number of non-angel creatures you control until Glorious Protector leaves the battlefield. Binding of the Old Gods. This is the card I was talking about earlier. The black green saga. 1 black, 1 green, 2 other. Chapter 1, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. Chapter 2, search for a forest card, put on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Note it doesn't say basic forest, it just says forest. So this also allows you to get triomes. Chapter 3, creatures you control gain death touch till end of turn. Rarely comes up. The other 2 abilities are really important. The first ability is the most important, and what you're paying, pretty much you're paying the 4 mana for. Bredegard's Stronghold. That's the green land that now it's pay 2 white, a green, tap and sack, activate only as a sorcery. +1 counter on each of 2 target creatures you control. They gain vigilance and lifelink till end of turn. So I've been told, and I don't actually remember because it's been so long since I've been to the States, but and I don't mean like a year or so. I mean like 8 years or something. Apparently Coke up here in Canada and Coke in the States tastes a little different from each other. Sigrid God. And I like Coke, and I think that's part of why. The showcase started is only $1.80, so like a buck and a half US. QQ. Two white, one other. 2/2 flash. First strike. Protection from god creatures. It's a legendary human warrior. Enters the battlefield. Exile up to one target attacking or blocking creature until Sigrid leaves the battlefield. That sounds fun. So he jumps into play during combat, like let's say as a blocker. He's got 2 power and first strike. Jumps into play, exiles that creature, blocks that one. So after attackers are declared, before blockers are declared, or yeah, after attackers are declared, before you go to declare blockers, you're still technically in declare attackers. You play him. Poison the cup. 2 black, one other. Destroy target creature if it was for if this spell was foretold. Scry 2. Okay. 3 seasons. One blue, one green. Saga. Chapter 1 Mill 3. Chapter 2. Return up to two target snow permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Chapter 3. Choose 3 cards in each graveyard. Those owners shuffle them into their libraries. Boop. Okay, almost done this stack. Ooh, shard token. I can't remember the name of the planeswalker, but there's one planeswalker that when you cast her, it's an X spell, and whatever you paid for X, you get that many shard tokens, and then she's got, I think, a +1 ability that makes a shard token. And the shard is basically pay 2, and this is an enchantment. Unlike treasure tokens and clue tokens and all that are all artifacts, this is an enchantment. Pay 2, sack this enchantment, scry 1, then draw a card. Snow-covered island. Oh yes. He's going to see play Tyvarkel. Tyvarkel. He is 16 normally. Mine is foil, so that is 27. Yep. See? Foil Tyvar. Pretty. 2 green plus 2, 3 loyalty. Elves static ability. Elves you control have tap for black mana. So your Elvish Mystics and your Llanowar Elves and your um Elvish Archdruids and your Allosaurus Shepherds and your elf tokens all get the ability of tap, add black mana. I tap this, I get black mana out of it. +1. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target elf. Untap it. It gains Death Touch till end of turn. Keep in mind that when it says up to, you can choose 0. And if you choose 0, the ability actually has no targets. For 0, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token, which again can tap for black because of Tyvar's ability. -6, you get an emblem with, whenever you cast an elf spell, it gains haste until end of turn, and you draw 2 cards. That sounds a little bit like Glimpse of Nature coming back. Okay, and again, that was a foil, so a foil replaces my common. So what's my rare slot? Again, it gets replaced with a mythic in this pack. Whoops, that's the wrong printing. View this one. So, Valky, God of Lies, Tybalt, the Imposter, showcase card, $66. About 50 something US. And Tyvar was how much? It's like 27? Yeah, okay. So this is the second pack I'm putting aside. So, Valky. One black, one other for a 2/1 legendary god. I'd be afraid if it was a non-legendary god. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card they reveal this way until Valky leaves the battlefield. Okay, so again, in a 4-player game, if you play this and you've got, you're sitting here and somebody there, and me, and you play this, we all reveal our hands to you, and you say, I want that creature out, and I want that creature out, and I want that creature out. And those guys are staying exiled until Valky leaves play. And then he has an X ability. Choose, so X, colon. Choose a creature card exiled with Valky and with convert mana cost X. Valky becomes a copy of that card. Also doesn't say activate only as a sorcery. The flip side is Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. 1 black, 1 red, +5, 5 loyalty. As Tybalt enters the battlefield, you get an emblem with. So, he comes into play and brings his emblem along for the ride. You may play cards exiled with Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. +2, exile the top card of each player's library. -3, exile target artifact or creature. -8, exile all cards from all graveyards. By the way, have 3 red mana while you're at it. The red rune. So that stack is getting put aside because, 2 really, really nice packs so far. Foretell, Snow-Covered Mountain, Crippling Fear. Oh yeah, Crippling Fear. That is going to go into my Shroom Sphinx deck. Crippling Fear. 2 black, 2 other sorcery. Choose a creature type. Creatures that are not of the chosen type get -3 till end of turn. That thing is going to be good. Surtland Frostpire. Enters tapped. Tap for red. Tap a red, 2 blue, 2 other. Activate only. Tap and sack it. Activate only as a sorcery. 2 damage to each creature. Cool. Alright. That is that stack finished. Whew. One more stack to go. You know, so far there's one card that I'm looking for, and I haven't got it yet. I'm looking for Magda, which is kind of like Magda's only like a couple bucks or so, and I think she's rare, not mythic. Haven't got one yet, but I'm nearly there. Double-sided proxy thingy, snow-covered swamp. Dear. Old growth troll. I wanted to build a deck with old growth dryads, and I could never figure out how to make it work. $1.30, so dollar rare. 3 green for 4/4 troll warrior with trample. When it dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield. It's an aura, so but you're not returning it normally. You're returning it as something that enchants a forest you control. And the forest gets tap for 2 green and tap 1, tap, and sack the land. Get a 4/4 green troll warrior creature token with trample. So when the creature dies, it comes back as something that can enchant a land, and you can pay 1 and sack the land to get a token that's a 4/4 trample, which this originally was. So technically split between 2 uses. For 4 mana, you're going to get 8/8 worth of trample. Ooh. Nice. Alright. Next pack. Elf Warrior token. Sulphurous Mire. Faceless Haven. This is the Snowman Land. A Faceless Haven. Boop. $1.50. I expect that to go up, actually. Snowland. Tap for colorless. Pay 3 snow mana. It becomes a 4/3 with vigilance and all creature types till end of turn. It's still a land. I expect that to go up because that's going to be one of those cards that's going to see play in so many decks. Just because, hey, it's, pay 3, get a 4/3. Da, da, da. Okay, so they reprinted Metallic Mimic. Bloodline Pretender. 3 cast and cast artifact creature shapeshifter with changeling. It's a 2/2. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever another creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, oh, put +1/+1 counter on this. Oh! So Metallic Mimic puts a +1 counter on the creature that's entering the battlefield. This puts the +1 counter on him. Or her or it or whatever. I don't know. I'm I say him because historically masculine has also been used for neuter for so many things. I, it's not a thing I like. Can you tell a gender on that thing? Actually, that thing looks male the way it's designed. Take a good look at the art sometime. Yeah. Uh, Not Fold's Lumber Mound. Tap for red. Tap 2 green, 1 red, 3 other. Tap and sack. Destroy target land. Create a 4/4 a green troll warrior creature token with trample. Oh, yes. This one's going to be fun. Sphella Ice Shaper. 1 green, 1 red, 1 other. Legendary snow creature troll warrior. That text on the type line is starting to get a little snug. It's a 2/4. Pay 3 and tap it. Create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manalith with tap, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 1 green, 1 red, and 6 and tap. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So that's another way you could potentially get something like Omniscience out. Dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we did that one already. That's next. Another proxy. Arctic Treeline, the green-white one. The green-white common snow duel. Calamity Bearer. Dollar rare. Yeah. Until we end up finding out that Giants, because if Giants ends up actually being a good uh, tribe to build around, if that ends up being the case, a lot of these giant cards like Calamity Bear are going to end up being really good. 2 red, 2 other for 3/4 Giant Berserker. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So essentially, this is a 4 mana that's attacking as a 6/4. Essentially. Oh, yes, Shepherd of the Cosmos. 2 white, 4 other for 3/3 Angel Warrior with flying. When it enters the battlefield, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 2 or less you control, 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It says permanent, it doesn't say non-land permanent, so you can return lands with it. So, return a fetch land, return Flagstones to Trocare, return all sorts of things. By the way, this also has Foretell for 1 white and 3, which not only cuts 2 mana off the cost, but one of the 2 mana it's cutting off is also colored mana. So instead of paying 2 white and 4, you're paying 1 white and 3. So you're saving yourself not 2 colorless, you're saving yourself 1 white and 1 other. 1 white and 1 colorless, which is a nice discount. Boop. What do I got left here? Like 9 packs? Yeah, 9 packs. We 3/4 of the way through the booster box. Double-sided proxy, snow-covered island, struggle for Scumfar. Fight. The Blood Sky Massacre. The Blood Sky Massacre. One red plus 1, black plus 1 for a saga that says Chapter 1, create a 2/3 demon berserker creature token with menace. That's not bad for 3 mana, like just in and of itself. Because the funny thing is, a lot of these sagas I find are priced based on, like when I say priced, I mean their mana cost are priced based on this plus this plus this, you know, um, like the black green one that blows something up and searches for a forest, and your, was it Binding of the Old Gods, I think it was, and then your creatures get Death Touch till end of turn. But I take a look at that and I'm like, is that 4 mana for, the assumption of blow something up plus get the forest plus giving Death Touch, you know, plus waiting a couple of turns for all that? Because I take a look at that and it's like 4 mana to blow something up is not bad. And occasionally, you know, if you tack on the occasionally get a forest out of it, okay, I could see paying 4 mana for this. Blood Sky Massacre. I take a look and it's like 3 mana, I get a 2/3 with Menace at Chapter 1. I'm already fine with that. Chapter 2. Whenever your Berserker attacks this turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Chapter 3. Add red for each Berserker you control. Till end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. I've noticed there's a few cards, not a lot, but there's a few cards like that, like this, that have an ability that say, by the way, you don't lose the mana from this till end of turn. There's like 3 of them or so in this set. It's not a common ability, but there's a couple of them. Call the Forge Master, nice. Provoke the Trolls, weird. Burn spell is weird. Boop. Alright. There we go. L4 token, Rimewood Falls, the blue-green dual land. Draugr Necromancer. I don't remember seeing you any. Oh, you're that thing. black, 3 other for 4/4 snow creature zombie cleric. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. You may cast spells from among cards and exile your opponent's own with ice counters on them, and you may spend mana from snow sources as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So, part the first. Oh, you've got a creature, you've got a non-token creature dying. Exile it. So chances are they're not ever getting it back because there's not many cards that let you either get back something that was exiled or recast it or whatever. You don't get a lot of access to them again. Um, but it's exiled with a counter on it, and the only reason for the counter is to say, hey, by the way, these are the cards that I've exiled with this kind of ability, so I can um I can cast these. You just have to spend snow mana to cast them, but you don't care about the color and the cost. You just care about how much mana do I have? Is it snow? Weather Dreamstone. Doo, doo, doo. All right, next pack. This is my first time actually doing a box opening, you know, online. Dwarf Berserker token. Ah! Snow covered swamp. Kolvori, God of Kinship. Oh, I partly remembered reading about her. Kolvori, God of Kinship. Kinship. 250. So a couple of bucks. So here's the thing. She's a 4 mana 2/4, legendary god. But as long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures, and it's not 3 or more other, it's 3 or more. Period. She basically becomes a 6/6 with vigilance. Pay 1 green, 1 other, tap, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature from among them and put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. That's the front side. Then there's the back side, which is the Ringheart Crest. 1 green, 1 other, legendary artifact. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap for green. Spend only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, or a legendary creature spell. That seems fun. Narfi, Betrayer King, we know about him, we know about you, we know about you. Snow Sinkhole, Foil Glimpse the Cosmos. Nice. Graven Lore, Snow Instant. It seems so weird saying Snow Sorcery and Snow Instant. You're only $1? Really? I expect that to go up because anybody playing with that is like, here's the thing. There's no with snow basics in the format. There's no reason to not play snow basics. There's no reason to not play snow basics in your deck. The with the possible of exception that they're going to cost more, but you get a snowland in every deck or in every pack. If it's not, if it's not a snow basic, it's a common snow duel. So coming up with enough snowlands and just well, under normal circumstances, I'd say just trade with friends. But if you have a local gaming store nearby you, you can always contact them and say, "Hey, look, I've got, you know, 10 Kaldheim snow covered. I've got like three forests and four swamps and, you know, two islands and a mount, or sorry, two forests and a mountain that I'm not going to be using. Is there any chance possibly I could trade those for islands off of you? If you've got a local gaming store, especially if you actually visit them or, had been visiting them regularly, an ask like that is commonly, I won't say it's, they'll, I won't, I'm not going to say they're going to say yes. I'm going to say it's not unreasonable for them to say yes. Um, you know, Maybe if you've got like 10, they might give you like, you know, 8 or 6, which is still not completely unreasonable. A store has to make money somehow. Um, or I'll throw in a couple of the snow dual lands that I'm not using. Okay, fine, go ahead. Take what you need. Um, but if you can get your hands on the snow basics, and they're not even going to be expensive either. Uh, Kaldheim Snow Covered Island. Let's see if that works. Yes, it does. So this one is a dollar. This one's $1.30. So fine, maybe you spend like $10 on basics. Because the chance of people running mono blue is kind of low in my opinion. You want enough to make sure your deck can run. Um, but those snowlands are going to be good, not just in standard for the next year and a half, 2 years, whatever it ends up being. But then, since they've been printed, they'll also be good in Pioneer and Modern and Legacy and pretty much any format you can think of. They've put them back in the, you know, they've recycled them. They've put them back in a circulation. X-Guard Armory. So land enters tapped, tap for white. Pay 2 red plus 1 white plus 1, tap and sack. Search your library for an aura and/or equipment card. Reveal them, put them in your hand, and shuffle your library. Does not say it's a sorcery. So 4 mana, get 2 cards. Yeah, you have to be specific on what types they are, but that's still not too bad. You're playing red white. It's not unreasonable. You're playing based around artifact, or sorry, it's if you're playing red white, it's not unreasonable you're building around equipment and or auras. And I still like the Battlefield Raptor. That thing is going to be fun. Frickin' 1/2 flying first strike for 1 mana. You put any sort of like, because the thing is that also stops a lot of, in some cases, like 3 mana creatures, because sure it's only got 1 power, but it's got first strike. There are like, you know, 2 1s and 3 1s sometimes, and just that 1 point of first strike, the people just and I'm gonna sit here and do nothing because you can stop me. And as soon as you throw any sort of enchantment on it, or any equipment on it that pumps its power, forget its toughness, pump its power, by like, say, 3 points. Now I've got a 4 power first strike creature. Okay. Um, I guess I'm just gonna sit here. Yeah, like questing beast against a 4 power first strike creature. Yeah, no. Human warrior, snow covered forest, inferno pet. Oh, that's cute. It's only common, but I don't think I've seen this one yet, and it's my foil. 1 black, 2 other for a 2/2 imp. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on an Inferno pet and it gains flying till end of turn. Aw. Skemvar Avenger. Oh yeah. That other thing about the Snowlands. Um, expect the price on them to go down. I think they're partly that high, just because there's so few from this set in circulation. People always want the newest version. Uh, yeah, dollar rare. 1 black, 1 other for a 3/1. Again, a 1 toughness creature that gets, you know, that gets killed by a 1 drop. 3/1 seems good. Dies to a 1 power first strike creature. Oh yeah, and there's also the puppy that's like a 1 red for a 1/1 first strike with a boast ability. Anyway, whenever another non-token elf or berserker, this is an elf berserker, so it cares about both. You control dies. You draw a card and lose 1 life. Note it's whenever another one, so you won't get the card draw or lose a life from this one dying. Yep, saw that. Saw that. Saw Harold. Dogged pursuit. Woof. Alright. Almost there. This pack, and 3 more to go. Double side tokens, no covered force. Finally, I got Magda. Finally, jeez. I mean, I know she's rare, but Magda, Brazen Outlaw. $1.70, so like maybe a buck and a half. One red plus one for a 2/1 dwarf legendary dwarf berserker. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. Sack 5 treasures, search your library for an artifact or dragon card, put that card on the battlefield and shuffle your library. Now keep in mind, it doesn't care why your dwarf got tapped. The most common way would be because it's attacking, but there are cards that, let's see if I've actually got one in here. No, there's not. There's a there's a green creature that basically says, um, tap it and tap another creature you control, and I think it's a 1/2 or something, or 1/3, something around there. And get 1 mana of any color. Let's see if I can just find one quickly. Nope. And nope. Okay. Um, but yeah, there's ways like that to get mana. There's having it tapped down the from that snow artifact that says, pay a snow tap. Um, Tap target creature or artifact. There's a few ways to tap down creatures. Um, yeah. So there's 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 a few options out there available to do it. Um, and you don't even have to, like I said, you don't even have to be able to attack. But that's going to be the most common way to do it. And if you're playing, like, I have a dwarf deck that I'm building, so if I have, oh hello, if I'm attacking with 4 dwarves, well, suddenly I'm gonna make 4 treasure tokens. Eradicator Valkyrie. Boop. $7. So 5 about 550-ish US, I think. 2 black, 2 other, 4/3 Angel Berserker. Flying, lifelink, hexproof from planeswalkers. Boast ability. Pay 1 black, 1 other, and sack a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. And again, it's got hexproof from planeswalkers. Planeswalkers your opponents control can't target it, which means that if somebody's got, what is it? I think it's the 3 mana Tef. It's either the 3 or the 5 mana Teferi. I always get the two of them mixed up. The one that says, "Hey, by the way, tuck your creature back into your deck." Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. That's not happening with this guy. Not gonna happen. Giant Ox. 2 more. Yeah, that's going to be fun. 4 mana, 4/3 flying, lifelink, hexproof from planeswalkers, and when it attacks, activate it only. You know what? The wording on that's a little. I'm going to have to double check how that works because Colia of the Vast puts creatures in a play tapped and attacking, which is weird because they're attacking, but they were never declared as an attacker. So, you. Let's just check the rulings on Boast real quick. Double-faced rune. Boast. No, you're not going to help. Okay. Then I'm going to have to look under the Eradicator. Da, 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 da. Does not say. Okay. Wait a sec. I went too fast for Boast. Boast. There we go. If a creature, this is according to the uh, the rules FAQ that Wizards put out, the Kaldheim release notes. New keyword boast. If a creature with a boast ability is put onto the battlefield attacking, it was never declared as an attacker. Its boast ability can't be activated that turn. Which basically means that you have to have declared the creature as one of your attackers for the turn. So Kalia dropping the Valkyrie into play is not going to actually allow her to boast. What I got here? So, snow-covered island, foiling a rune eyes, cyclone summoner. Oh dear. This is another one of those. They like printing creatures with this kind of ability. Cyclone Summoner. And getting slightly confused with some of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah, it's $1 rare. So, 2 blue, 5 other for 7/7 Giant Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hands except for giants, wizards, and lands. Seems fine. Seems perfectly harmless. No big deal. Sorry, you don't have any giants or wizards? Not my fault, I guess. Hey, look, I've got a way to give my guy a haste. Okay, done. Yeah, there's regular Infernal Pet. Oh, there we go. Jaspera Sentinel. This is one of the cards I was talking about earlier. It's 1 green for 1/2 with reach. Tap and tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color. So that will allow you to tap a dwarf. And my last pack. Let's see what I get out here. I mean, I've already got 2 packs that I'm really happy about in terms of like dollar value sort of thing. Oh, here's a giant wizard token. Snow-covered mountain. Okay. Okay. This is not an expensive card. Like, it's not a $30 card, but this is going to be a great card. $4, so about $3 US ish. Reflections of Lit Jara. 1 blue plus 4 enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. So, if you cast, I don't know, let's even. So, yeah, sure. Immerstorm Raider. This guy. 1 red plus 1 for a Demon Berserker. 2/1. When he enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. You named Berserker because this is Kaldheim, so let's name Berserker. So I cast this. I get a free copy. I get a token that's a copy of this, and then I'll get this one, which means I get to discard and then draw a card twice, and I get two ones out of it. Oh yeah, Icebind Pillar. This is the artifact I was talking about that I couldn't remember the name of. That lets you that could let you tap one of your creatures. Another Path to the World tree, another replicating ring. Well, two really, really good fun packs out of this. And I guess I can't complain too loudly. So, yeah, if there's any deck ideas you want you have brewing through your head, yeah, you could always throw it in the comments. Hopefully somebody can take a look and give you some feedback. I know I've got way too many deck ideas. I've even got a cube I'm trying to finish putting together. And it's going to be interesting because I want cards in there that people don't play with. I want cards like, and I want reasons for people to play or try to play monocolored. And I, by the same token, I also don't want them to feel they have to play monocolored. So I want the ability to produce other colors in there. I want them to be able to get the colors they need when they need them with a reasonable expectation of doing so. But by the same token, if they want to play mono green, I want stuff in there that'll be good for mono green. If they want to play, heavy black with a splash of blue, I want to be able to do that. And I want a few cards in there that have abilities that you don't expect from those colors. Not a lot, but and not something that's necessarily out of line for that color. But for the sake of example, um, Reforge the Soul would be perfectly fine. I don't mind throwing that in at all because, but there's only going to be a single copy, and there's only going to be one card like that does that sort of effect in there. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the night. Uh, Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.